developments happening with the conflict in the Middle East between the United States and Iran, as we're hearing that new nations are now going to be joining into the war. And in addition to that, new nations, global powers vocalizing their opinions and disapproval for what's going on and how this conflict is now beginning to impact those nations. In addition to that, some breaking news coming out just moments before I went live here, and that is we're hearing Donald Trump has done a reversal on his fees that are going to be charged in the Strait of Hormuz. Now, I'm going to be giving you the latest video footage, but it just seems like we're seeing changes and shifts happening from minute to minute. Let's go ahead and dive right in and get you caught up on the latest so you can see what's going on here. So now, Saudi Arabia is going to be opening up a new front in the Iran war. They're going to be going alongside the United States and Israel. In addition to that, Russia says renewed strikes against Iran that have just occurred have violated the MOU. They are undermining the nuclear settlement efforts. Today, Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov, he warned Tuesday that renewed military strikes on Iran undermine diplomatic efforts to resolve the standoff over Iran's nuclear program. Russia getting very vocal today regarding the conflict. In addition to that, we do know that Iran is China's indispensable partner, but Beijing is saying they will never fight its war. So at this time, China is saying we're not going to get involved. We are not going to be fighting, but this is impacting our economy. Russia coming out and having a lot to say today. We're going to be covering the details and take a look moments ago as well from the live feeds. Benjamin Netanyahu to Iran's leaders. He said, we will respond to any attacks on Israel with far more power. Israel issuing out a chilling threat today to Iran, saying that we are ready to absolutely decimate the remaining Iranian powers. U.S. military yesterday says it had a 5-hour wave of strikes that hit Iran's coastal defenses, missiles, and drone sites. And we're hearing a new wave is going to be hitting today. Donald Trump said Monday and Tuesday, we're going to blow up Iran. And yesterday, I covered it for you. People were telling me, oh, I thought that this had happened. This is old news. I was trying to explain, no, it's still happening. 5 hours of attacks unfolded last night from the United States against Iran. In addition to that, we're seeing articles coming out like this. The U.S. attacks Iran and Tehran retaliates across the Middle East, threatening a return to all-out war. And we're hearing that new nations are taking stances and joining into the war today. And can the Gulf countries defend themselves against renewed Iranian attacks? We're hearing that there is a lot of pressure on various nations. And take a look here. Iran, North Korea, Russia, they only care about one thing, and that is about their regime's survival. Now, notice they didn't mention China in there, but take a look at this article. Now, this came out at the beginning of the war. It has been updated in the last 48 hours, and it's posing the question, given the headlines in 2026, it would be reasonable to ask this question: have we entered into World War III? Let me know your thoughts. Are we already in World War III and we don't realize it? Are we entering into World War III? If you think so, put WW3 in the comments. If you think no, this is not going to turn into a global escalation and we're not there yet, put no in the comments. Let me know your thoughts. But people are asking this question. And like I said, this article was actually written a couple months ago when the conflict started. Now we're hearing that it's being updated in the last 48 hours. Given the headlines in 2026, it would be reasonable to ask, have we entered into World War III? Military conflicts have touched the Caribbeans and Latin America with Venezuela, Europe with Ukraine, and the Middle East with the Iran conflict. There is also further threats of escalation with Cuba, who we've heard potentially has a drone swarm set for Iran of 300 Shahed kamikaze drones. New alerts coming out today, July 14, 2026, as well on that. And the possible attack on Taiwan by China in the future. China saying, we're not going to get involved with the conflict with Iran because we've got our own conflict right around the corner. And here is the breaking news that came out just when I was going to go live. Trump has reversed course on a 20% fee on the Strait of Hormuz cargo after pushback. We had heard Donald Trump say the Strait of Hormuz will now be in U.S. control starting today. In addition to that, we're going to be charging a 20% fee for ships to go through because it's going to be our ships, our troops, our time, our resources, our oil that is going to be used in this effort. As a result, We should not do this for free for the entire world. We should be charging for this because this is the service that we're offering. We're hearing he has just moments ago reversed that stance. So, man, let me know your thoughts in the comments. And I see WW3 pouring in, but you guys, I will be sure to keep you up to speed on everything. But there's a lot going on today, July 14th, 2026. We're hearing war is absolutely erupting. We're going in the direction of all-out war, and we're hearing that things are shifting, changing. New nations are entering in. Major global powers are vocalizing their stances and opinions on what's taking place. So there's a lot going on, and we're also hearing the markets are shifting significantly as well. And I've mentioned this here on the channel. If you want to position yourself, people have asked me, Steve, how do I make sure I don't miss out? In the past, I knew things were going to be shifting with the markets, but I couldn't take advantage of it. On the screen, you can see a QR code for my friends over at Public. If you're watching on TV, you can point your phone at it. You can go ahead and download the app. Just takes a couple of minutes. It's fast, it's simple, it's easy. If you feel like you know what's going to be happening with oil, with the stock markets, if you feel like you know what's going to be taking place and you want to take advantage of it, now might not be a bad time to position yourself. Keep in mind as well that we have just seen in the last 24 hours, Donald Trump has announced to Congress that we have now officially entered into a new war. The old war, he said, ended with the MOU. Now we're going into a new phase of 60 days of where he's declaring war without needed congressional approval. So that means that it's very possible that this is going to last at least another 60 days. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. So if that's the case and you feel like you know it's going to be happening, my friends over at Public, it's fast, it's easy, it's simple. Now, if you're watching on your phone, I've also got a link down below. If you want to get on the app, I've had people tell me they literally have downloaded it, got it going while we're live. It just takes a couple minutes. Easy to start trading if you're interested. So thank you to my friends over at Public making that available to anybody that is interested. But with that being said, you guys, let's go ahead and dive right in. I'm going to get you caught up on the latest. We're hearing that Saudi Arabia is entering into the war. Russia getting very vocal today. And the United States is saying, hey, we're just going to have to blow Iran up. And I see Tony saying, get it done. Tony saying USA. And if you are also somebody watching and you support the United States, drop USA in the comments. Hit the like button if you haven't done so yet. I see we got about 2,000 people in the room. It really helps the feed when you hit the like button. We could get 1,000 likes, half the room to hit the like button. That would be awesome. And if this is your first time here, subscribe. It's totally free. I'm doing the daily updates to keep you up to speed on everything. And there is a lot going on. So thank you to those of you that are bearing with me. I had to start a little bit late because I had to do some more updates because they were coming in right as I was about to go live. But with that being said, you guys, let's go ahead and start off with some video footage. And then we're going to dive into the articles, get you caught up on everything.
So President Trump ordering strikes on Iranian military targets for a third straight night yesterday as the United States prepares to hold a blockade of the Strait of Hormuz. Mike Tillman is live in Israel with the details. Good morning, Mike.
Good morning, Lawrence. And we're a little less than 10 hours now from the blockade officially going into effect. And with that, we've seen a flurry of activity of Iranian strikes on commercial shipping crossing the strait. The United Arab Emirates reported that two ships were hit overnight. And just a few hours ago, the United Kingdom Maritime Trade Association reported that another ship was hit just off the coast of Lima, Oman. This was a ship following the southern route through the strait established by Oman in defiance of the Iranian route to the north. Yesterday, a Cyprus-flagged container ship was hit. That flurry of activity coming after the president announced the U.S. will impose a blockade, take control of this strait, and charge 20% of all cargo as reimbursement for providing security.
We're putting the blockade back, and it's a blockade not for anybody but Iran. In other words, anybody doing business with Iran can't go through. Everyone else will be able to go through. So it's a blockade. It's a very strong blockade. The blockade was probably more effective even than hitting them, but I think the combination is the thing that really does it.
Strikes on the cargo ships triggered new U.S. airstrikes, and the latest round U.S. war machinery struck Bashir, a coastal town home to the massive nuclear power facility, Konarak, home to a naval base and an airfield, Chabahar, home to a port, Abu Musa, and Bandar Abbas. Bandar Abbas has taken a number of hits. In fact, that is where CENTCOM reported the U.S.-based sea attack drones were used for the first time to strike an enemy. CENTCOM says the drones hit a ship repair facility and a submarine. The U.S. says they've been hitting coastal defense systems, maritime capabilities, capabilities of Iran, as well as missile and drone sites. Lawrence, back to you.